Welcome to the Narrate podcast, where we aim to tell God's story with our lives. We'll be continuing to post the Sunday message each week, but we want to dive a little deeper and offer some content to supplement your life with God, and that's where our Beyond Sunday series comes in. Join Adam and Narrate staff as they provide thoughtful discussions, ideas, and interviews that go beyond the message you'll hear on Sunday.
This is Gay with Trina Youde talking about Nursery, and I just had some questions, and hopefully she has some, and we'll just go from there. I was thinking about the Nursery. It's not the easiest place, and so what's the rewards there for you, Trina?
I think the reward is just knowing that I'm helping in a vital way for families with young kids to be able to attend the service and have a break and have, someone that they can entrust their kids to for a little while, and hopefully someone who's going to build a positive experience of church into their kids from day one, and then the kids also can build relationships with each other and learn friendship and stuff like that. So it's, just a lot of value in it, I think, for families.
Yeah, I see you really interacting with kids, and that, they really look to you and want you to be with them. And is that a reward to you too?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Anything that's flattering is rewarding. So we all want the little ones to like us, just like we want adults to like us. But it is wonderful to see them enjoying the experience of church and of building relationships with the people there, whether it's adults or other kids. And just to see them getting to know you well enough to smile at you and want to come to you when their parents drop them off, and that kind of thing, and want to bring a book for you to read to them. And that's super special.
Yeah, I'm interested in where your faith began and how you got to hear and even narrate. How did you get to narrate?
Yeah. I was raised in a Christian home, so church is nothing new, but definitely Narrate is a different style church than I grew up in. I was in a non-denominational church when I was really young, and then a little bit of Nazarene and a little bit of, mostly Christian and Missionary Alliance through the older years of my growing up, and went to a Christian and Missionary Alliance college for a couple of years. And so, not familiar as much with any liturgical church styles or, I don't know how to describe, just the more open, thought-provoking conversation. So when my husband and I got married and I moved here to Helena, that's when we were going to a different church for the first couple of years of our marriage, and then through just seeing some of our needs and our family's needs, our kids just needed something different, and we were recognizing we did too, and so we started looking around, and Narrate was the one we kind of kept coming back to. So and that was probably 2016, 15.
How old was Abby then? Abby's your youngest, who also volunteered in the Nursery for years.
She was 11 when we got married, so probably 12 or 13 when we started coming to Narrate.
Well, you certainly showed a good example to her. She really shines. She's a good volunteer. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, when we first started coming, actually, Abby was in the nursery, and I just did hospitality. We each of us kind of had our own separate area that we volunteered, and I wanted to let the girls have their, Ellie was on the band, and Steve did kids, and Abby had nursery, and I was hospitality. So it was kind of like our own individual way to serve, and I felt like the girls needed that, and I needed something that was a little less commitment level at the time, and so that was a good fit for quite a while. But then when Abby went off to college, and I knew there was a greater need in the nursery than on the hospitality team, so I decided to step in.
Well, so how does that feel sometimes, not being able to attend? And, I mean, nursery and kids, you can't attend except at another service, instead.
Right, yeah.
So I just wondered, how does that play into it when you have time or not have time?
Yeah. It's just part of our rhythm. And especially with Steve having worked with the kids for so long, with Narrate kids, the older grades, he is booked for that entire second service, So whenever we're volunteering, we just attend the first service, the early service, So that's just how our Sunday rhythm is. If we're volunteering, we attend early, and even sometimes if we're not volunteering, we still go early. But if not, sometimes we go late. So that's just part of the deal, is that whole second service is booked for serving. And I guess it's just the expectation now.
I guess I really appreciate that, Trina, because, it isn't just something we do. It's something we have passion to serve with. I think that's what gives us the light in it, instead of, oh, I got to do nursery today. It doesn't feel like you ever feel that way. It always feels like, you like to be there.
Yeah. It's a great place to be, and the kids are so sweet and encouraging, and the other volunteers are too.
Yeah,
so
it's a good community that way. I was thinking about if you were speaking to people who had done maybe hospitality, or maybe been to scatterings or something, but they had never really volunteered in the nursery. What could you say to them? I know you're saying it right now to me, and other people are going to listen too, but what would you say to them why it's a good idea?
I think it's just a really valuable way to serve families that have the greatest needs. I mean, I've actually never raised little ones myself. I married into 4, basically teenagers, 11 up to 17. And, I've done a lot of babysitting, had a lot of kids around me, sister and brother and siblings, cousins, lots of family around me. So I was always around babies growing up and stuff, but didn't have my own. And the 24/7 demand of caring for little kids is a lot. And from the outside looking in, I just know, like, they need a break. They need some support, and they need to know that they're doing a good job. And it's not, there's nothing wrong with needing some help or a break, or especially so that you can just go to church, and feed your soul a little bit. So.
And I think that's really beautiful, that you have empathy without the experience, the actual experience, Yeah. I think that's really beautiful. And that's from Christ, from Christ's heart, that he gives us gifts that we can have empathy for areas and we can serve with our hearts in those areas instead of what we're good at or whatever. Because I know people don't even know what they're getting in for at the nursery, and it's a little scary place. At least I've heard people say that. It doesn't seem scary to me, but...
Well, I guess the other thing I would add is that there are a lot of volunteers and leaders, you and Bill and whoever else is in there. There are a lot of seasoned workers that know what to do, and I think, Gay, you do a good job of not scheduling a whole bunch of newbies in the first, or in the same at the same time. So there's always going to be somebody that can show you where something is, or help you out if there's a situation you don't know what to do with, or whatever. So, just learn as we go.
And be faithful to where we go, as we go. That's a real symbol to me of Christ in us, is it when we can go with the flow. We can go with what is in front of us, and we don't have to anticipate or plan it. So I see you do that really well. What have you encountered that's uncomfortable for you at the nursery?
It might sound funny, but I think one of the hardest things sometimes is coming from the first service, where sometimes the message or the songs or just whatever, gets a lot of thoughts rolling in my brain. And sometimes I'm feeling things and praying through things or even crying sometimes, and then it's like, okay, I got to transition to the nursery. And how do I engage with the people down there and the kids with all this on my mind? And
that's interesting.
But it's always good. And sometimes someone asks, how you doing? And there's some conversation around that. But most of the time it's just move on to the next thing. And that in a good way, move on to the next thing, like, okay, I do need to process, but I can also serve my community at the same time. Like I still have something to give, even when I feel like I'm a mess. And we're all a mess. So just join the crowd.
Well, and like you said, it's on the days that you're committed to the nursery. So, well, I'm not going to have time to process this at the time right after. Or maybe, someone will be in the nursery who you can process it through with while playing with kids. I really want the nursery to be a community within a community. And I see that with the kids. I see that they find that as a community. They know their friends are there, and they know the kids that have been there since they have. And so I appreciate that for my volunteers too. And I find that definitely true. If I'm not too busy picking up Cheerios, to let them go sometimes. I'm working on this as a goal for me in the upcoming months, as far as how can I serve you better as a volunteer. I know what I do for the kids and for the families, but I'm working on that with my volunteers in a service way. It's you give me so much, you give the families so much, the kids so much, but how could I serve you in a more concrete way? I mean, what would you like to see? Would you like to see get-togethers or picnics or, I don't know. I mean, I want you to know how valuable you are as a volunteer to me.
Thank you. I feel like you do a great job of that, so I'm kind of racking my brain. I haven't thought of anything right away.
You could write me a note.
Yeah, if I think of something, I will let you know, yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on it because we can't just go on as usual in life when we appreciate something so much. It just doesn't work very well that way. Our marriages, our kids, everything. We have to be appreciative. We have to make that known to the people. So that's what I'm working on.
That's valuable.
Where do you find joy there? What makes you happy there?
Well, I'm an Enneagram 2, so anytime I feel needed, I feel joy. So just the sense of, these families need me, these kids need me, and I'm filling a need. I'm helping in a tangible way that makes a difference. And but especially, like you said, when the kids want to play with you or read a book with you, or when they smile at you, when they get big enough to where you can tell they recognize you and it feels like you're known and they're known, and there's a relationship there. It's not just a transactional handoff when the parents bring them, I think that's the best part.
And you were talking about that you did have relationship with one of the kids' parents, and outside the nursery and outside the church service. And I mean, I think have you seen your valuable relationship grow with the little girl?
Yeah. I think it's great for us to see each other in different contexts, and for her to know that I'm a friend at her house and at my house and at church.
That's good. I like that. Well, is there anything else you'd like to speak to about that you want the community of Narrate to know about the nursery or about your faith in life?
I think I would love for the parents to know that they're not a burden. Their kids are not a burden. It's not a chore for us to take your kids for an hour on a Sunday morning so that you can go enjoy church. Just
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks. That's
just entrust us with them and go enjoy yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really beautiful, Trina, because, you live with your kids, especially when they're so tiny and have so many needs, and it's so much. That's a very good message. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I would like to tell them they're doing a wonderful job. We have a lot of great kids.
Right.
And they're well cared for. And, we see parents bring them in happy and healthy and with plenty of supplies. And, they're well loved. And we know that. So they're doing a great job.
Yeah, I'd like to say the same. Very much so. Well, thank you, Trina.
Thank you.
If you'd like to learn more about Narrate Church, find us online at narratechurch.org.
You can also look us up on Facebook or Instagram. Thanks for listening.